Newly released WikiLeaks emails show Hillary Clinton was tipped off to a CNN primary debate question by Donna Brazile. At the time, Donna Brazile was a CNN contributor, and now she is interim chair of the Democratic National Committee. And this isn't the first time Brazile has helped out the Clinton campaign. Fox News chief national correspondent Ed Henry has the story.
When Hillary Clinton was preparing for a CNN-hosted debate in Flint, Michigan with primary rival Bernie Sanders,
we have to focus on what must be done to help the people of Flint.
Clinton got to phone a friend, or at least got a helpful little email from Donna Brazile, then a CNN contributor and now interim chair of the DNC. A new dump from WikiLeaks today shows Brazile was caught again handing out CNN's playbook to Team Clinton in advance. In an email the night before the March debate, Brazile told John Podesta that Clinton would get a question from someone personally impacted from the Flint water crisis, saying, quote, her family has lead poison and she will ask what, if anything, will Hillary do as president to help the people of Flint. Then, at the CNN debate, Clinton got this question.
After my family, the city of Flint, and the children in D.C. were poisoned by lead.
Joined today on the trail by the fiery former college basketball coach Bobby Knight, Donald Trump ripped into Brazile.
She should be fired from the DNC. By the way, could you imagine if I did that? Bobby, what would happen to me if I did that? Electric chair, I think. The electric chair. If I did that, can you imagine?
Trump was referring to what is now a litany of evidence of coziness between Brazile and the Clinton camp while she was at CNN. In a previous WikiLeaks release, Brazile was accused of handing out another question to the Clinton camp ahead of a CNN town hall. From time to time, I get the questions in advance, Brazile wrote to Podesta. In the body of the email was a long question about the death penalty that Brazile was concerned about and ended up getting asked of Clinton, basically word for word. Even though Brazile tried to deny to Fox News that CNN ever gave her access to the questions.
How did you get that question, Donna?
Well, Kelly, since I play straight up, and I'll play straight up with you, I did not receive any questions from CNN.
CNN itself blamed its partner in the town hall, TV One, for sharing that death penalty query. But the Flint debate was hosted by CNN exclusively. So today the network issued a news statement saying Brazile resigned from her role as contributor back on October 14th. It went on to say, quote, CNN never gave Brazile access to any questions. We are completely uncomfortable with what we have learned about her interactions with the Clinton campaign while she was a CNN contributor.
Meanwhile, Fox News has learned that billionaire Sheldon Adelson has just committed a stunning $25 million to a super PAC controlled by the Ricketts family in Chicago that's hitting Hillary Clinton with corruption ads, a massive number in the final week. This may help Republicans down ballot, but also is a sign that some big money Republicans who doubted Trump are betting big that as these revelations pile up, maybe he can actually win. But we should also point out, money is not everything, Britt, as you know better than anyone. Jeb Bush and a whole bunch of other candidates found out tens of millions of dollars don't always make a difference.
Trump was the guy that had all the money, didn't spend much of it, won anyway.
Exactly.
Thanks, Ed. Nice to see you. So, is letting Donna Brazile go, as CNN has now done, enough to resolve the matter? Let's ask Joe Concha, who covers the media for the Hill newspaper. He joins us from New York. Joe, what do you think?
What do I think? I think that we need to explain this a little bit, Britt, as far as Donna Brazile's role at CNN at the time as a contributor. She was not a moderator for any of these debates or town halls. She was not involved in the debate prep in any capacity. That means that somebody within CNN, within that organization, had to feed her, a willful conduit, if you will, that information, those questions that then went to the Clinton campaign. As Ed pointed out in his package, the subject header she had in one email to Podesta, from time to time. That means not singular, that means on several occasions this happened. So CNN, and I called for this a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to do it again, needs to absolutely conduct an internal investigation by an outside firm to see where this cancer exists. And it wouldn't be hard to do, Britt, because here's the thing. Probably those questions were within a room, and you've moderated debates before, debate prep team, research, producers, probably someone from that area sent it along to Brazile, who then gave it to the Clinton campaign. CNN's a proud organization. It's been around for 36 years. There's a lot of good journalists there. They don't deserve to be painted with this broad brush, but unless they do an internal investigation, integrity is going to be a big problem for that network unless they show they're taking this seriously.
Joe, do you think this says anything about the practice that's now common on all the cable news channels and perhaps some other news organizations as well, as having as part of your sort of stable of talking heads people who are not journalists, who are really only tangentially associated with your news organization, and who may have partisan purposes, partisan attachments, and so on, and they're kind of in your midst all the time. Is this in part what that's all about?
I think it's a great point, Britt, that you're begging for a conflict of interest when you have Donna Brazile, in this instance, on your payroll. Remember, she wasn't head of the DNC at the time. She was number 2. She was vice chair. And only when Debbie Wasserman Schultz had to resign at the end of July during the DNC after it was exposed that she was working against the Bernie Sanders campaign, Brazile took over. But when you think about it, should she have ever been on the air in the first place where she could be compromised, where she has access to information and people that she could pass along to the Clinton campaign? Obviously, she was rooting for that campaign to win based on the emails that we're seeing. So, yes, I would hope that in the future, Britt, when we look back in this campaign and all the media malfeasance that we've seen, that we really, as any cable network, whether it be CNN, Fox, MSNBC, doesn't matter, say, you know what, we got a lot of good reporters out there, tons of good pundits. We don't need to hire people from the DNC or the RNC to act as pundits because we're only asking for trouble.
Yeah, and I think that goes to a certain point here, and that is that there are people who have partisan leanings who appear on these channels, but she was in a particularly unusual category in that she was a senior official, though not the chairperson, not the chair, but she was a very senior official at the DNC. At the same time, she was being paid by a news organization. I think, you know, that's a sort of a self-evident conflict of interest that might be easier to avoid than if you just decided that you weren't going to have anybody with partisan ideas under your roof.
Absolutely, Britt. And speaking of partisan, even when Josh Earnest was asked today, he's the White House spokesman, obviously, when he was asked a question about this, and what do you think about Donna Brazile passing along debate questions to Hillary Clinton on several occasions, he then went the Bo Bergdahl, Susan Rice route, where he said, and I quote, "She's a person of integrity, of a person of high character, a true professional." So even here, Britt, with overwhelming evidence showing that somebody engaged in some serious wrongdoing, we can't even have the White House say this was wrong and we condemn it and it hurts the process. It's why the media is so distrusted. It's why government is so distrusted when even partisanship takes over in these situations where Ernest can just say, you know what, this was wrong and we condemn it. No, not even there could he say that. Instead, he has to say that Donna Brazile, who's a very nice person, don't get me wrong, is a person of high integrity. We're lost. We're completely lost at this point if we're saying that in these situations.
Joe, thanks very much.
Thank you, Britt.